Ronald and I entered the gymnasium and were completely wowed. The school really outdid itself for this party. There were disco glitter balls, strobe lights, streamers, balloons, and everything you could imagine for a really cool party. DJ Ace in the hole was pumping up, playing the new hit song, Turn It Up. He was on stage with his DJ equipment, two of the largest speakers I've ever seen on each side of him, and the letters ACE were hanging above him. It was by far the coolest party I've ever been to, which isn't saying a lot, considering I've never been to a party that didn't involve cake, ice cream, or a really creepy clown. It seemed like every student and teacher in the school were there, dancing like they all just won the lottery. Even the custodian, old Mr. Bookman, was dancing, except he was dancing with the mob. Poor Mr. Bookman hasn't been the same since that bucket fell on his head. I was scanning the room, looking for the treacherous three, when Maya nudged me and pointed to the far side of the gym. There they were, all three of them. Tracy was wearing an outfit that was different than Tammy and Tanya, which was out of the ordinary, and Tracy was wearing her backpack. The three of us nodded and walked towards them. As we walked through the dancing crowd, we lost sight of them. By the time we got to the corner of the gym, Tracy was gone.
Hey, Tammy, where's Tracy?
She could be anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere.
Then I heard in my right ear, Tracy whisper.
Yeah, anywhere.
I was startled to turn around and see that she wasn't there. Then in my other ear, I heard Tracy again.
I'm right here. Want to go for a ride?
All of a sudden, I was lifted up and propelled towards the cement wall. Just as I was bracing myself to smash into it, I heard Maya yell, "Move!" A nearby cluster of balloons jumped in front of me, cushioning me from being splattered. Maya was picked up into the air and started flying towards me. I grabbed her just before she hit the wall, and we both landed on the floor, face to face. For a fraction of a second, our noses and lips were right next to each other. That second seemed like an hour, as I was so close to kissing her. I could see something big coming towards us, fast. It was Ronald! Maya stuck out her hand and yelled, "Move!" Ronald stopped in midair and popped right on top of us. "You've got to lighten up on the cupcakes, Brain Boy," I grunted as he tried to shimmy off of us. You would think that the crowd would see this and freak out, but the music was so loud. Everyone was having such a great time, no one noticed.
How are we going to stop her if we can't see her?
I have an idea. Follow me.
The official colors of Booker T. Washington Middle School are red and gold. Those colors are everywhere. Teachers and students are always rocking red and gold t-shirts. Our mascot, Booker T. Eagle, has feathers that are red and gold. Our gym floor, our flagpole, our freshly painted walls are also red and gold. During the last summer break, Principal Johnson recruited about 100 students, including Ronald and I, to paint the hallways. It was hard work, but a lot of fun. The students of Booker T. Washington, also known as the Bookers, are very proud of our school, and we express it in our school spirit. Everyone who participated in painting the halls still feels an even greater sense of pride when we walk down the hallways and see the results of our hard work. The one thing everyone, however, hates is the hallway that leads to the maintenance room. That's where Mr. Bookman keeps all his tools, brooms, mops, and the buckets of red and gold paint. We had to walk up and down those stairs a gazillion times, carrying those heavy buckets of paint. Also, down that hallway are the boiler room, air conditioning room, and water supply room, and that's exactly where Ronald was taking us. Ronald, what are we doing down here?
You'll see.
We reached the maintenance room. Ronald turned the doorknob. It was locked.
Jeepers! It's locked.
Jeepers?
You'll get used to it.
Javon, can you zap the door down?
As soon as Ronald made that request, Maya casually said,
Move.
and the door fell like a chopped down tree.
Thanks.
In the back of the room, there were about a dozen cans of red and gold paint.
Okay, each of you take 2 buckets of red paint and follow me.
Is he always this bossy?
Usually only during science fair week. We grabbed all the paint we could carry and went across the hall to the water supply room, which also was locked.
Maya, if you would be so kind.
Move.
The door fell and we went inside. There were a bunch of pipes, cranes, and other industrial things.
Now, each of you open a jar of paint and pour it into the drain that says main water supply.
Why?
Just do it.
When Brain Boy speaks, I listen. We poured the red paint into the drain and ran back to the party. The party and music were still going strong. It looked like everyone was having a really good time, including Mr. Sykes, who was now dancing with Miss Burnett.
Get your groove on, Mr. Sykes.
We looked over the crowd for the T3 and found 2 of them in front of DJ Ace's stage. Of course, we couldn't see Tracy, but I knew she was there. Speakers that were on the far corners of the stage started floating, banging up and down really hard. Everyone thought it was part of the show, but from the surprised look on DJ Ace's face, I knew it wasn't. It was Tracy.
How is Tracy doing this?
I don't know, but we've got to find out to stop her before she hurts someone.
Well, to stop her, first we have to see her. It's time for the Supadupa kid and Maya to crash the party.
Call me Muévete.
What?
Muévete. Muévete. It's Spanish. It means move it.
That's dope.
I concur.
I clapped my hands together and created a flash of light that blocked the crowd from seeing me undressed and seeing my Supadupa suit. Maya had just taken off her jacket, put on her mask, and was ready to rumble. When the flash disappeared, the Supadupa kid in Muévete stood proud. The crowd caught one side of us and started clapping.
Supadupa kid is in the house.
Everybody cheered.
Make it rain, SDK.
Ronald said while pointing to the ceiling at the sprinkler system. Ah, I see now, Brain Boy, I said as I patted him on his back and accidentally gave him a little shot.
Ouch!
My bad, bro.
You two got it from here? I like the crowd out to safety.
I looked at Maya, so proud to have her by my side, and then I rubbed my hands together and made a crackling ball of electricity. I threw it towards the ceiling, and it created what looked like fireworks burst. The fire sprinkler system kicked in, and the water started falling from the ceiling. At first, the crowd thought it was cool, until the water started turning red, and everyone ran screaming out of the gym. Ronald held the doors open, leading everyone to safety. The water was cascading down, turning everything red. In the middle of the gym stood a red figure. The more paint fell on her, the more it looked like Tracy. Her fists were clenched, her clothes and hair were dripping red, and she was wearing something on her face. It was a mask. I quickly recognized that mask. It was from the museum. Ah! The figure yelled as she waved her hands toward DJ Ace's giant speakers. They both floated off the stage and were hurled in our direction. One speaker flew towards me, and the other one towards Muévete. I shot a lightning bolt at one speaker, shattering it into 1,000 pieces.
Move!
And then the other speaker, which had to weigh about a ton, stopped in midair and was hurled back at the figure. With a wave of her hand, the figure flung it against the wall, effortlessly. The red water was still falling down, covering all of us. We stood before the figure, and I asked, Tracy, is that you?
I am no longer Tracy. I am dark matter. Feel my wrath.
She now waved her hands at the large ACE letters that hung above the DJ booth. They detached from their chains that held them up and started flying towards us. Then she waved her hands towards the bleachers. They broke off from the side of the gym and were sent hurling towards us. No! Muévete yelled at the flying letters, deflecting them away from us. I shot a lightning bolt at the wooden bleachers that were about to crush us, blasting them into smithereens. When the debris from the explosion disappeared, dark matter was gone. But we could see red footprints exiting the building. I started to fly towards her, and Muévete pointed to the sign that said pool, then pointed to us, soaking wet, covered in paint. Good idea. After a quick dip in the pool to rinse the red paint off us, we followed the red paint tracks to the football field. Dark matter was standing perfectly still in the middle of the field. We approached her carefully. It was eerie. Tracy, I don't know why or how you're doing this, but this madness has to stop before someone gets hurt.
Yeah, Tracy, we all know that you're a jerk and a meanie, but this is supremely crazy.
You're not helping.
Sorry, I'm new at this whole superhero thingy. Is there a superhero manual I can brush up on?
Silence! Tracy is gone. Only dark matter resides in this body. The mask says so.
The mask! We've got to get that mask off her.
Behold the power of dark matter.
She raised her arms, and the turf of the field began to tremble. Massive amounts of dirt shot up and consumed me and Muévete. We were coughing and gagging while being suffocated by the dirt. I spun around at Supadupa speed like a whirlwind to funnel the dirt away from us. Move! And the dirt was propelled towards dark matter. With a wave of her hand, the dirt parted around her as she chuckled.
You two are no match for dark matter.
She reached out her arms towards the goalposts at opposite ends of the field. The post came out and the dirt launched at us. As Muévete opened her mouth, dark matter snapped her fingers and a glob of dirt filled her mouth. Because Muévete wasn't able to speak and stop the post, they slammed upon us and forked us down to the ground. Without super strength, I couldn't push the goalposts off of me, and Muévete was struggling to get the dirt out of her mouth to move them. When she finally did, dark matter hurled 2 cars at us. My hands were pinned down to the ground, and I couldn't get a good shot to destroy the cars that were about to crush us. Muévete managed to spit the dirt out and yell as loudly as she could, "Move!" The cars stopped. Just as they were a few feet away from crushing us, she yelled, "Move!" and sent the cars and goalposts in the direction of dark matter. She waved her hands, and the cars flew behind her, but the posts landed into the ground, standing straight up like tuning forks on either side of her.
Ha! You missed.
No, I didn't! Move!
The goalpost started vibrating, lightly at first, then gradually, louder and stronger. The sound was deafening. Dark matter started to shake and shiver uncontrollably as she stood between the 2 pulsating posts. They were vibrating at such a high frequency that the school window started to burst. Dark matter was holding on to her ears, trying to block out the sound, but it was too strong. She fell to her knees as Muévete's nose started to bleed from the power coming from her. Then she yelled to me, "Supadupa, light it up!" My pleasure. Kaboom, suckers! I shot a lightning bolt at each ends of the post, sending shockwaves between them. The vibration of the goalposts, along with the energy from my blast, brought dark matter down to the ground. Her mask shook off and fell, shattering into fragments. Muévete waved her hands, and the vibration stopped. When we walked towards Tracy, she was lying on the ground in a fetal position. Muévete grabbed one arm, and I grabbed the other, as we helped her up. When she got to her feet, she asked, dazed and confused,
Where am I?
"You're at the football field."
Did we have a game? Who won?
We did. 2-0.
Why am I covered in red? It's really not my color.
"You're the mascot." We helped her up and walked her to the sidelines. Sirens were wailing in the background. which was our cue to get out of there. Tracy, you're going to be okay. Police and EMTs are on the way. Tammy and Tanya, who looked shaken, came to console their sister.
It's okay. We've got her now. Thanks.
As the sirens got closer, I told Nuevete, superhero rule number 1. When you defeat your enemies, make sure they're okay. They're still people. Rule number 2. When you hear the cops coming, leave. Rule number 3. After a long fight, get ice cream.
Why ice cream?
Why not? She smiled, gave me a fist bump, and said,
Move.
to herself and floated into the sky. I proudly flew by her side. Next day, school was closed. There were obviously some major cleanup and repairs needed in the gym, water supply system, and football field. I can only imagine the look on Mr. Bookman's face when he saw the mess we've caused. Maya and Ronald came over to my house to hang out for the day. We watched the news to hear what the broadcasters had to say about the incident. Tracy was being interviewed, but had very few answers. She really didn't remember much of what happened. Last thing she said she remembered was that she was watching Mr. Bookman in the mop boogieing. Then she said she woke up covered in red paint on the football field with the Supadupa kid, some strange girl wearing a mask.
Strange girl? Tracy has a lot of nerve calling me strange. With that mask she was wearing, she looked like the hunchback of Notre Dame.
Easy, Maya. We came out on top. No one got hurt, and no one knows that we're the good guys.
Good guys and good girl.
Oh, great job, team. Let's have a little fun. Since we've got the day off from school, want to shoot some hoops, play video games, or how about a board game? Both Maya and Ronald voted for a board game. We decided the game Trouble, which was very fitting. We each picked a color. Then I asked, who wants to go first?
I always move first.
We all busted out laughing. I bet you can figure out who won. The end, for now.